Hey guys, thank you so much for joining what should be a fireside chat. No fire, but that doesn't matter. We're here just talking about conservation, about protecting biodiversity, and at the end of the day, this dude here, a former ranger, very famous on television now, does some pretty cool things, but to meet like-minded people and to spend time with like-minded people is always fun. And we're building a community. We're building a global human fence, and it's something that you believe in as well. Making sure you give everybody the opportunity in whatever way, shape or form to contribute to protecting what needs to be protected.
Absolutely. I think one thing I've learned is everybody can make a difference, and that's why I think this community of the Rangers program is so amazing. But I think we all want to know kind of how, well, I want to know how SORAI started, what the conception, where the idea came from, and how your passion for wildlife has led to this point.
Where did it start? It started in 2013. I went on a cricket trip to South Africa with a couple of my buddies, famous South African cricketers, and part of that trip was going back into the bush. And I spent so much time on the treadmill of international sport. I never got time to go back to South Africa and really see the place that I absolutely loved and adored. So for me, when I finished cricket for England, the opportunity to go back and go and mess about with some cricket, but then go on a bush experience, I was like, right, I've just got to do this. And the guys were saying, just come on. So I went, I did it. Part of that process was a microchipping of horn, rhinos. At that time, they were doing the microchipping of the horn because of the devastation that was happening with the rhino. And I never knew anything about it. So I was going on this bush trip with my buddies to go and enjoy myself for 3 days. And yet there was a huge lesson that I took away from that. And the lesson was that 3 rhinos were being killed every single day for their horn. And while we were doing the microchipping of the rhino, the vet got a call on his radio to say there's an elephant that had been hit by a snare. Would he mind doing the elephant as part of the procedure? So we were like, wow, this is, I mean, goodness, we're going to get 2 experiences in 1 year. So as emotional as watching what we did with the rhino was, we just got in choppers and we flew off to another location, and we did the rescue for this elephant, where we took off this horrendous snare on this elephant's leg. So there, I mean, I left there 2013 saying to the guys, I mean, at that time I was front page, middle page, back page of all newspapers, just because of the way that I finished my career with England. And they just said, with your profile, the way your profile is, just raise awareness. Just tell everybody what's happening in South Africa, the devastation of keystone species. So I did that, and it just went from strength to strength to strength. I then started seeing more about what was happening. I was going out to South Africa more. I was, in a good way, but in a horrendous way, able to see firsthand the devastation that was happening, animals that had just been killed. And so the emotion started to build up, the smell from those incidents. Just gets you to a space where I need to do more. So to cut a long story short, over the following years, I started playing for rhinos. I had rhinos on my bats. I got rid of my endorsement deals, and all my money from the endorsement deal that I was going to get, I gave it to conservation. And then my little man, while we were out at our lodge in South Africa, stenciled this rhino, which is this rhino here. So when Dylan was, I think, 8 years of age, he stenciled this one afternoon at home. I think he had a little bit of help from Granny. I think so, from Granny. But he stenciled it, and I was like, that's amazing. Yeah. So I put this in my bat. We then did bats, but bats are actually very expensive. They can range from $200 to $700. So what people wanted is they wanted sticker packs. They're like, we'd love to put the rhino on our bat. So we did sticker packs, sold them out. Like, hey, let's do caps, let's do T-shirts. And it went really well. So that's where I think SORAI was born. And it was just accumulation of a few different things that got us to a place where we started to make a big difference, because we give away 20% of our profits to conservation, to places that we know make a difference. And we've been able to do some amazing things and protect some amazing places. And I've got to meet some unbelievable people. I mean, sitting at home here is a comfort, it's a luxury. compared to the people that are out in the bush 24/7 protecting these animals. And I suppose in essence, that's why I do what I do, so that we can raise enough money to be able to donate enough money to make a difference. And we've made such a difference. Like the difference that we have made as a family, as a SORAI family, and I call it a family, as a community, is, I mean, it's incredible. The amount of money that we've donated, the animals that we've protected, the kids that we put through school, the technology that we've been able to install all around, like the IPZ and the Kruger National Park that have caught poachers. I mean, we see daily
it does make a huge difference. It really does.
It is. And the dollar or the pound goes so far in South Africa.
And every little does count. You know, it's amazing. It's a beautiful origin story, and I think it's, you know, what I've taken away from that is that the passion can make a difference.
Huge.
You know? And obviously you're on the top end of the scale, but everyone can make a difference, you know, just by sharing the message, by connecting with SORAI, with them amazing organisations that are doing fantastic work.
But that's what people want to connect, right? And they keep asking, how can we connect? And I suppose the Ranger program is the perfect way for somebody walk in New York who goes, actually, I don't have the funds to be able to go to South Africa. It's such a long way to go, but I love animals and I care for animals. And I want to be associated to this story. So how from New York can I make a difference? And I suppose you can join the Ranger program. So it's very, very simple by joining the Ranger program.
And makes a massive difference. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I think it's all about acting on a passion. You know, I think obviously we've been very lucky to have first-hand experiences in these environments. And
but you've done more. You've been right in the thick of it.
I've been in the thick of it. Yeah, very different.
How long were you in the thick of it?
I was working as a guide in the Northern Kruger for about 6 years.
So the Northern Kruger is South Africa. Kruger National Park, one of the
beautiful spot. Yeah,
gorgeous.
Another beautiful home for rhinos as well in South Africa, obviously.
But there's not many rhino up in north now. They've all been killed.
Sad, yeah, very sad story. So when I joined, when I started working in the lodge I was working, we had 4 white rhinos up on the property, and it's the furthest northeast you can get in the country, on the border of Zimbabwe and Mozambique. And sadly, by the time I'd left, 5 years after that, there were no rhinos. So I had a very visceral and raw experience of what it is like to see the persecution that these animals are facing on the ground, but then also to meet some of the most fantastic and inspiring individuals who are dedicating their entire lives to protecting these keystone species. So, you know, it is a bittersweet story, I think.
Tell people what it's like to be a ranger. Like, what is it like to actually be a ranger?
It really makes you feel like you are making a difference, and I've never felt so connected and inspired to myself, but also the natural world, in any other career path I've done. You know, it's the most amazing way to find this inspiration in the natural world. Like, everything is so important to you. Every single sight, sound, smell, every stimulus is relevant to your existence. And I think that is a really beautiful place to exist. And as opposed to kind of living in this world where we're disconnected from everything, you know, everyone has their headphones in the whole time, they're looking down, you're not looking up, you're not hearing the birds. To be in an environment where you are so connected to yourself and the natural world is a privilege. Yeah. And instead of you're almost an observer of the environment around you. You know, we are in their environment. I'm in a wild area with wild animals, and we are a very small part of that ecosystem. But that is how we exist. You know, we do live in harmony in that environment. I think that's the takeout from that environment is everyone needs to live in harmony with their environment. You know, we need to make small differences that make a big change in the grand scheme of things, to connect and to live in harmony with the natural world. And that's what I've taken from that, and that's what I try and connect with, and kind of the message I try and pass on to people on my network, friends, family, guys on social media, you know, even on TV. That's really what I've taken from that, is living a life that is connected to nature rather than against it. I think that's what I've, you know, really been inspired by SORAI as well. Is there's so many amazing people who are trying to make a massive difference and to inspire people too.
And there's a very big generation of kids and young adults and teenagers that want to make a difference now.
Yeah, I think caring is cool. I think that's the message, isn't it? Like, you know, what David Attenborough's done for the natural world. He's made this amazing kind of cinematic experience where people can emotionally connect with the natural world. And I think, you know, if we keep pushing that, and kids, you know, spend more time outdoors and spend more time even in the UK, there's beautiful wilderness areas where you can connect with yourself in the natural world. I think that would make a massive difference. And we do need to act on it because time is running out. Yeah. You know, there are happy parts of the story, but, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it's something that has to be done now.
How often do you get back to South Africa?
As often as possible. In fact,
it's a unique experience, isn't it?
It is just beautiful,
and just waking up and just seeing the sunrise and the sunset. You completely disconnect.
Yeah, it's a special place. They say Africa gets into your soul, I was born there, so I kind of feel like...
But they say that you're not born in Africa. Africa is born in you.
Yeah. It's a very much a homecoming experience, and everyone, one of my favourite things of being a guide was first-time visitors to the continent, first-time visitors to the bush, and seeing how quickly perspective changes in that environment. You know, day one, people get a bit stressed out, they haven't got smartphone reception, there's no Wi-Fi, they're asking all these silly questions, and then day two, they go, okay, you know, I've fallen asleep to the sound of lions, I've woken up to the sunset over the savannah, you know, I have this kind of awakening moment, and that for me was my favourite experience, seeing these guys who've been burnt out, working in the city, they've come to the bush, and they've gone, oh, I can just breathe, and I can relax, and it is incredibly special, and that's why we need to protect these environments, you know, it is all about conserving the spaces and the wildlife that inhabit that space.
Using profiles is a big thing, right? I mean, I found in 2013 I had to because of what the situation was. Do you find the same thing?
Absolutely, I felt compelled to, and to be honest, you know, the only reason I really got into the career I'm in now in TV and reality in that world was to connect with an audience greater than I could when I was in the bush. So for me, you know, the motivation has always been to connect to a wider audience, and I think, as you said, almost for the sense of duty. Yeah. You know, if you care about a passion, if you care about something that's bigger than you, why wouldn't you reach out to your network and share that message the same way you would your family? Because you know, at the end of the day, it is almost a global family, and I think that's what I find really inspiring about SORAI and the Human Fence program and everything that comes with that. And I think people are really receptive to it. Yeah, you know, people are wanting to be inspired and wanting to connect with these causes these days. So it has been really special for me to be able to have, you know, conversations and communicate with people who are dedicated to a cause and want to be inspired. Yeah,
it is. The inspiration is key for us to be able to make sure that we keep driving home the awareness and keep driving home the messaging. And I suppose the messaging is, if you're watching this, that rhino horn is one of the most expensive commodities on the black market. It fetches between 60 to 85,000 US dollars per kilogram, and that's why these animals are being butchered. And they're being killed because of the crazy beliefs around the rhino horn. If you grind it up and you sniff it, or you drink it, or you eat it, or you put it on the ground rhino horn on your food, it cures cancer. Rubbish. They say it's an aphrodisiac. Rubbish. And I suppose the biggest issue that we face now is because of how expensive it is. It's a symbol of wealth. So if you've got a rhino horn in your house, you're pretty cool, because it means you must have cash. And so that's our biggest battle now, is to make sure that we kill these messages, because they are utter nonsense. And when you see a dead animal, he'll have seen dead animals. I've seen these dead animals. I mean, it's the thing is the smell for me. Like that's, I mean, I just remember being around this, that smell, you just can't get it out your clothes.
It's utter heartbreak, because, you know, such a beautiful and proud species is being decimated because of human ego. Yeah. And it's so unfair for an animal like that to be in a position like that because of us. I think that's why, as humans, we have a duty to swing the pendulum the other way. You know, rhino horn is keratin. It's the same as our hair and our nails. There's absolutely no medicinal properties. Yeah. There's no benefit to ingesting any
Zero.
Rhino. It's ridiculous. You know, and yeah, if we don't get on board soon, you know, it's not going to be a happy story.
Yeah, and the Human Fence, I suppose, is why Tristan and I are here. We're talking about our Ranger program and launching it. He's the head ranger. He's been a ranger.
I'm getting back in the khaki. We are getting the boots on.
He is our ranger, and yeah, it's very important to give people the opportunity to dive deeper into the story, because I suppose them feeling like they are part of the Human Fence is big for people.
Absolutely. You know, with cumulative causation, as you know, as this thing kind of gathers momentum and people get involved, you will make a massive difference, and it's a great opportunity to connect with fantastic people around the world who are inspired. You know, there's so many reasons why we need to make a difference, and it's an amazing platform and opportunity for people to connect and make a difference.
I'm always surprised by how many, when you see the stats on what happens with wildlife programs and how we bring our children up, and the animal programs that we show them, and the puppets and the balloons that always have animal pictures on. Like, animals are us. We are so connected to it. So for me, it's like, why would we not want to make sure that we protect what needs to be protected.
Yeah.
Because at the moment they're not being protected. I mean, elephants are being butchered. I mean, I heard a horrendous thing that's happening recently now in Africa where poachers are poisoning the carcass of a dead animal, which means that when a dead animal dies or gets killed, guess what comes to the dead animal? The scavengers come to the dead animal. Those are hyenas and those are lions. And they're now poisoning a carcass so that they can get to the lion or the tiger, the lion or the leopard. And they want the bones of those animals for medicinal purposes. But also what happens is the vultures, as soon as they start seeing that there's an animal, the vultures come down. So vultures are being killed, lions are being killed, hyenas, leopards. I mean, you name it. It's just catastrophic what's happening.
Absolutely. It really is heartbreaking. I think it all comes down to education and you know, swinging that pendulum. And that's what SORAI is dedicated to do. They connect with causes that are making a massive difference and try and push that as soon as possible.
We get asked all the time, what are the ways in which we can help? Now, as SORAI, as a family, are giving you that option to become a ranger. We want you to become a ranger. We want you to be part of our family, and we want you to be part of our human fence. The electric fence can be cut down. The electric fence can stop working. The electric fence can be knocked over by a buffalo or an elephant, which means that people can get in because there's easy access paths into these national parks where these animals can get killed. What can't get broken is our human fence. And I suppose that's exactly what we're creating, and that's exactly what we're putting together so that you can be a part of what is already a successful story.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Happy days.
Absolutely. Get involved,
Welcome,
guys, please.
welcome to becoming our big ranger.
I'm
He's our guy.
excited. I'm excited for it. And you can become a ranger as well. So please get involved. Join the club. It is really special. And there are so many amazing benefits and perks that come with that. Exclusive content, prizes, like-minded individuals.
Trips to Africa.
Trips to Africa.
Maybe even hosted by him.
Not that I need an excuse to go back to the bush.
Amazing. Good on you, mate. Thank you so much.
Thank you.